Most people think that life gets harder when you take on more challenges, but the truth is exactly the opposite. Life gets easier when you learn to do what's hard. If you only stick to what feels comfortable and safe, your life will be a struggle. But if you can force yourself to tackle difficult tasks, you'll find that things get simpler. Your brain is wired to avoid anything that makes you feel uncomfortable or uneasy. That's why you keep putting off important decisions, tasks, and goals. You're constantly negotiating with your own mind, trying to find excuses not to take action. But the problem is, this kind of thinking will never lead to growth. It's not a motivation problem, it's a decision problem. You have two choices: either let your brain dictate what you do or take charge and make decisions that align with your goals. In most cases, people choose the easy way out because their brain wants them to stay safe and relaxed. But this kind of thinking will keep you stuck in mediocrity. You need to start telling your brain what's going to happen, not asking for permission. That means making a decision and taking action without waiting for motivation or feeling ready. It's time to stop overthinking and start doing. You don't have to wait until you feel 100% confident. Just take the first step. If you keep asking your brain for permission to do something hard, it will almost always say no. Your brain loves comfort and ease, but that kind of thinking will never lead to progress. The moment you stop negotiating with yourself is the moment growth begins. You are in control of your life. Don't let your brain dictate what you do. Take charge by making decisions that align with your goals. Stop asking if it feels right. Just do it because it's right. When you take action before doubt can set in, you'll start to see progress. Most people stay stuck because they're still waiting for the perfect motivation or feeling. But here's the thing: there is no such thing as a perfect moment. Every day you have two choices: either let your brain dictate what you do or make decisions that align with your goals. The choice is yours. You're stuck because you're waiting for something inside you to change. You want to feel motivated or brave or strong enough. But here's the truth: motivation is a myth. Most people think they'll take action once they feel ready, but that's never going to happen. Your mind is designed to protect you from taking risks. It's supposed to keep you safe, not push you forward. So if you want to break this cycle, you have to start taking charge. Don't wait for the right moment, create it. When you wake up in the morning, don't roll around thinking, "Do I feel like getting up?" Tell yourself, "I'm getting up now. I've got work to do." If you wait for inspiration, you'll be waiting forever. It's not going to hit you out of nowhere. You need to stop waiting for that feeling and start taking action because it's right in front of you. This is the discipline of decision-making, and it's not about feeling strong. It's about being strong. You have to understand this. Discipline isn't something you wait to feel. It's something you practice by doing. And it starts with how you talk to yourself. When that voice in your head says, "maybe later," you need to say no. Not later. You think you're waiting for something, for the right feeling, the perfect motivation, or the ideal circumstances. But that's just an excuse. The truth is, you practice feeling by doing. And it starts with how you talk to yourself. You don't need to feel like doing it, you just need to do it. Every time you take action without asking permission from your feelings, you're building a stronger version of yourself. You're showing your brain that you're in charge, and over time your brain adapts. It learns to follow your lead instead of fighting you every step of the way. But this only happens when you stay consistent, when you make decision after decision without waiting for the perfect mood or situation. When you start to see that your life isn't shaped by what you want, it's shaped by what you're willing to do without comfort. That's where most people go wrong. They wait, delay, and hope for easier days. But here's a consequence of delaying: you'll keep getting stuck in the same pattern. You'll keep waiting for things to get better only to find that they don't. Life doesn't get easier, you get stronger. You build mental muscle just like you build physical muscle through effort and discipline. It means choosing hard over easy, telling your brain what's going to happen, and following through even when it pushes back. That's what separates the successful from the stuck, the disciplined from the drifting, and those who grow from those who give up. You've got to learn to shut the door on doubt and take control of your life. Every time you face a decision, don't ask if you feel like doing it, just do it anyway. You think you know what it takes to succeed? Think again. The successful, the disciplined, and the ones who grow, they don't just wake up one morning and magically achieve their goals. They've learned to shut the door on doubt. They've learned to stand firm when their emotions try to talk them out of action. You're probably thinking, "But I'm not like that." You're thinking, "I'm too soft," or "I'm too weak." Don't be fooled by your own excuses. The truth is, most people are stuck in this exact same pattern: procrastination, self-doubt, and a constant need for validation. They can't seem to get out of their own way. You've got to learn to say, "This is what I'm doing," and then do it without checking how you feel about it every 5 minutes. This isn't about being harsh with yourself. It's about being honest. It's about understanding that your feelings are not always aligned with your goals. Your brain is a trickster, it will give you resistance, and that's okay. You don't have to follow its lead because that's what it means to grow up mentally. That's what it means to take responsibility for your path. You stop letting your brain run on autopilot. You stop letting your energy be drained by decisions that don't need to be made. You wake up and you act because action builds power. And once you get into that rhythm, something incredible starts to happen. You start to see the consequences of not taking action, the missed opportunities, the wasted time, the lost potential. You stop fearing hard things. You stop avoiding the challenge. You begin to crave it, not because it's easy but because it makes you better. You think this is going to be easy? Think again. It takes discipline and it takes effort. But the payoff is worth it, every single time. You'll look back on your old self and wonder how you ever lived without the courage to take action. You'll realize that the only thing holding you back was your own fear of growth. So make a decision today to stop letting your brain dictate your path. Stop making excuses, stop procrastinating, and start taking action. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. You're stuck on autopilot. Most people cruise through life with their brains on mute, never questioning the status quo. But you're different. You've got a spark within you that's begging to be fanned into flames. Craving it is the first sign. Not because it's easy, but because it separates you from the mediocre versions of yourself who settle for mediocrity. It brings you closer to who you're trying to become, stronger, tougher, wiser. Most people don't know how to deal with hard things because they've trained their brains to avoid them like the plague. But you can't afford to play it safe. You need to teach your brain that discomfort is not a warning sign, but a signal for growth. Every time you feel resistance, it's an invitation to push through, to prove to yourself that you don't fold under pressure. It starts when you stop asking your brain for permission. When you stop treating your motivation like it's your master and start being the one in control. When you stop letting hesitation have the final word and instead say, I get up anyway. I start anyway. I do the next rep anyway. You are not here to live soft. You're not here to coast through life on low energy and wishful thinking. You're here to grow, to rise, to build, to lead. And that starts with your thoughts. That starts with your inner commands. That starts with how you respond to the voice that says you don't feel like it. Because if you keep listening to that voice, you'll always stay where you are, stuck in neutral, going nowhere fast. But if you challenge it, if you look it in the eye and say, I'm not asking, I'm doing, you create change. Real change. The kind of change that compounds over time. The cost of delay is stagnation. Every day you wait to face what's hard is a day you waste your potential. You're on the cusp of something big. Something that will separate you from the pack. Something that will bring you closer to who you're trying to become, stronger, tougher, wiser. It requires you to face what's hard. To stare it down and say, bring it on. Because every time you do, you become stronger. You build resilience like a fortress. And when the tough times come, and they will, you'll be ready. You won't fold under pressure because you've learned to thrive in discomfort. Most people don't know how to deal with hard things because they're too busy avoiding them. But you can't afford to play it safe anymore. You need to learn to face the fire and emerge stronger on the other side. You are not here to live soft. You're not here to coast through life on low energy and wishful thinking. You're here to grow, to rise, to build, to lead. And that starts with your thoughts. That starts with your inner commands. That starts with how you respond to the voice that says you don't feel like it. Because if you keep listening to that voice, you'll always stay where you are, stuck in neutral, going nowhere fast. But if you challenge it, if you look it in the eye and say, I'm not asking, I'm doing, you create change. Real change. The kind of change that compounds over time. You're on the cusp of something big. Something that will separate you from the pack. Something that will bring you closer to who you're trying to become, stronger, tougher, wiser. But it requires you to face what's hard. To stare it down and say, bring it on. Because every time you do, you become stronger. You build resilience like a fortress. Most people don't know how to deal with hard things because they've trained their brains to avoid them. But you can't afford to play it safe anymore. You need to learn to face the fire and emerge stronger on the other side. You've probably heard it all before, stay where you are. It's what most people do. They settle for mediocrity, for comfort, for a life that's predictable but unfulfilling. But I'm here to tell you something different. If you want real change, if you want to be stronger day after day, if you want to reshape your future, then don't just think about it, do it. The kind of change I'm talking about is the kind that compounds over time. It's not some overnight sensation or a quick fix. No, this is hard work, dedication, and persistence. This is rewiring your identity, reshaping your future, and taking control of your life. Every time you hesitate, you're missing out on progress. So when your brain tells you, I don't want to do that, what are you going to say? Are you going to listen to it or are you going to take charge? You don't wait, you don't ask. You move. That's how transformation starts. When you stop giving your brain the option to quit, when you stop asking for comfort and start demanding results, that's when real progress begins. You think you've got what it takes? Think again. You may have all the potential in the world, but if you're not using it, if you're not taking action, then you might as well be useless. Don't waste your life on wishing, hoping, or waiting for things to happen. Decide with strength and never look back. Stand up the moment your mind says wait. That's what I want from you. When your mind tells you to hesitate, to pause, or to delay, stand up. Take a step forward. Don't let fear, doubt, or uncertainty hold you back. You're not just building a new habit, you're rewiring your brain. That small pause, that quiet hesitation, is not just a thought, it's a test. Your brain is trying to protect you from discomfort, from effort, from anything that feels unfamiliar or difficult. And if you obey that voice even once, you reinforce weakness. You teach your mind that hesitation is allowed. Don't do it. Don't give in to comfort and ease. Be strong. Take control. Move forward with purpose. Every time your brain tells you wait, take a step back. Remember, the moment you hesitate, you reinforce weakness. And if you want real change, you need to be stronger than that. You're not just changing yourself, you're transforming your life. So don't let anything stand in your way, not fear, not doubt, not uncertainty. You've got what it takes. Now it's time to use it. Keep moving forward with purpose and determination. You've been taught to flee from discomfort, effort, and anything that feels unfamiliar or difficult. That voice in your head tells you to stay hidden, to avoid the pain of progress. But if you obey it even once, you reinforce weakness. You teach your mind that hesitation is allowed. And before you know it, that voice gets louder, stronger, more convincing. It whispers sweet nothings, telling you it's okay to put things off until tomorrow or next week or next year. But the truth is, most people never start because they wait for the perfect moment, and that moment never comes. You think you're just getting a break from discomfort, but in reality you're building a wall of excuses around yourself. You're stacking reasons to delay, building stories, creating believable lies that justify your inaction. But here's the thing. Every second you sit in hesitation makes the task feel heavier than it really is. Your brain is a master at finding ways to procrastinate, and it will keep doing so until you take control. So, I want you to pick up the phone today. Make one call. Send one email. Every action builds momentum, no matter how small. The moment itself doesn't have to be dramatic, but the decision is where your power lives, because the longer you wait, the harder it gets. Every second counts, and every action builds momentum. You don't need more time, you don't need a better feeling, and you don't need to feel confident. What you need is to act. Most people will never take that first step because they're waiting for the perfect moment, but there's only one way to make it happen: by taking action now. Don't wait until tomorrow or next week. Make today count. Every breakthrough in life begins with one choice. One decision to take action. So, what's holding you back? Is it fear of failure, fear of success, or fear of the unknown? Whatever it is, I want you to confront it head on. Take responsibility for your actions and take control of your life. You don't need a plan or a strategy, you just need to start. Make the decision to act today. Take one step forward. Because every second counts and every action builds momentum. Listen up, because what I'm about to tell you might just change your life. Most people don't believe in themselves until it's too late. They keep waiting for that perfect moment, that feeling of confidence, or the right amount of time. But let me break it down for you. None of those things are necessary. What you need is action. Not every now and then, but every single time. Because your brain is a muscle that needs to be exercised, and repetition is key. It learns through what you do, not what you think. If you train yourself to hesitate, it'll become a habit. But if you practice acting on command, you'll get better at that too. You become what you practice. That's the hard truth. So here's your reality check. Most people spend their lives in delay mode. They don't even realize they're doing it because they've convinced themselves it's okay to put things off until later or think it through. But beneath those words is fear, not just fear of failure, but also fear of discomfort, effort, and temporary pressure. That's what keeps them stuck. You can't live like that anymore. It's time to make immediate action a habit. You need to become someone who doesn't tolerate delay, someone who respects their own time too much to waste it in indecision. The people who win in life, who grow and succeed, aren't those who always feel ready. They're the ones who act even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. And let me tell you where the battle is won or lost. It's in those first few seconds of hesitation. That's where most people falter. But once you start moving, momentum builds. Your brain starts catching up and your body gets involved. You need to act now, not later, and definitely not tomorrow. Don't fool yourself into thinking that things will magically fall into place if you wait a little longer or feel more confident. It's time to take control of your life and make immediate action a habit. The people who succeed don't always feel ready, they just do it anyway. And when you start doing it, you'll realize that the hardest part is often the first few seconds. Once you get moving, things will start falling into place. But if you wait until you're feeling perfect or confident enough, you'll never take action. So here's what needs to happen. You need to become someone who acts immediately without hesitation, and especially when it feels hard. That's where the battle is won or lost, and I'm telling you now that it's time to win. Listen up, because most people will never make it past these first few seconds. They'll stall, they'll hesitate, and before you know it, an entire day has passed and nothing's been accomplished. But you can't afford to be like them. You've got to win those initial seconds no matter what. That's when the battle is won or lost. It's not about having a clear plan or being motivated, it's about taking action in spite of your doubts. Don't let that inner voice convince you to wait just one more minute. Because trust me, that minute will turn into an hour, and that hour will become a day, and before you know it, a habit is formed. And once you've established the habit of procrastination, it's incredibly hard to break. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. When your mind tells you to wait, stand up and take action. Don't argue with yourself. Don't try to convince yourself that it's okay to put things off until tomorrow. Just do it. And let me tell you, taking control is not easy. It takes discipline, effort, but most importantly, a willingness to create momentum yourself. You can't wait for the perfect moment or mood, you've got to make it happen. And that means taking action even when it feels uncomfortable. Resistance will show up and you'll want to give in. But don't lean into the discomfort instead. Every time you take a small step towards your goal, you build strength and self-respect. You start to believe that you can follow through on what you set out to do. And let me tell you, this is not just about achieving success or reaching goals. It's about becoming someone who takes action when it counts. It's about showing up when it matters most. And that's a mindset shift that will have a ripple effect in every area of your life. So don't wait to start making progress. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back from taking the first step. Because when you take control and move forward, everything else falls into place. Your work improves, discipline increases, health improves, and relationships become stronger. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. It's not about having all the answers, it's about taking action despite uncertainty. And when you do that, a new image of yourself emerges. You'll be someone capable, strong, and committed to your goals. Stand up right now and take control of your life. Don't let hesitation hold you back from achieving greatness. Take action and watch how your entire world transforms in response. You're stuck in a cycle of procrastination, constantly delaying progress because you're too afraid to take action. This is not an excuse, it's a cop-out. Most people give up at the first sign of resistance and they never reach their true potential. But what if I told you that this resistance is not the enemy? It's actually the gatekeeper to your growth. When you feel uncomfortable or hesitant, don't try to justify why you can't take action. Don't make excuses for yourself. You need to act, period. The moment always feels hard until you move. And when you do move, everything shifts. The energy changes, the pressure lifts, and you realize that what felt impossible was actually within your reach all along. It's not about being fearless, it's about being willing to take the first step despite your fears. You don't need motivation or external validation to start taking action. You just need to stop making excuses for yourself. Stop justifying why you can't do something and start doing it anyway. The best habits are built in the moment, not in theory. Self-respect is earned by showing up and putting in work, even when it's uncomfortable. When you start moving towards your goals, something changes inside of you. You stop avoiding pressure and start leaning into it. You begin to understand that the discomfort you feel is a sign you're on the right track. It's not a warning, it's a signal that you're growing. Most people never reach this place because they give up at the first sign of resistance. But resistance is not the enemy, it's the path to everything you want. And the only way to walk through it is to ignore the nagging voice in your head and take action anyway. This applies to everything: getting in shape, growing your income, healing, whatever it is that you want to achieve. If you're trying to get in shape, walking into the gym is the hardest part. You'll need to push past the discomfort of being a beginner and face the judgment of others. But when you do, you'll realize that what felt impossible was actually within your reach all along. You're not a spectator in your own life, you're the main actor. Stop watching from the sidelines and start taking action. Start showing up and putting in work. That's how strength is developed, that's how self-respect is earned, and that's how the best habits are built. You're trapped in a cycle of hesitation. Everything shifts when you move. The energy changes, the pressure lifts. It's not that hard. It just feels that way because you're stuck in your head. Get out of your head and into action. Stop overthinking every detail. Stop waiting for it to feel easier. The longer you wait, the more power you give away. You're not here to live in hesitation. You're here to lead your own life. And leadership starts with deliberate action. You've got to take control. Don't ask permission, don't delay. Say, I'm doing this now. That's how you become unstoppable. Your brain will start working for you instead of against you. It'll understand that waiting is not part of your life anymore. It'll stop feeding you delays and start delivering solutions. But you've got to prove it first. Show your brain that hesitation doesn't get a seat at the table. And how do you show that? By responding in the moment. Not when you're tired, discouraged, uncertain, or overwhelmed. No debate, no second thought. You move. That's your new rule. Every time your brain says wait, you say no. You'll be amazed at how quickly things change. The more you act, the less time you spend stuck. You're not going to wait for it to feel easier. You're going to do it now. And when you do move, everything shifts again. The energy changes, the pressure lifts. You realize that what felt hard wasn't actually that hard. It only felt that way because of your hesitation. You've got to get out of your head and into action. Stop overthinking every detail. The longer you wait, you'll be giving up on opportunities. You're not here to live in hesitation. You're here to lead your own life. And leadership starts with deliberate action. Take control. Don't ask permission, don't delay. Say, I'm doing this now. That's how you become unstoppable. You're stuck in the cycle of indecision, aren't you? You're overwhelmed by the constant debate in your head, weighing the pros and cons, analyzing every detail until you've spent so much time thinking that you've lost momentum entirely. Well, let me tell you something. It's not about making more time or having more energy. It's about mastering one crucial skill, acting without delay. When your brain says wait, what do? You move. That's the new rule from now on. No second thoughts, no debate. The moment your mind hesitates, get up and take action. It's not about being perfect or making the right decision. It's about moving forward despite the uncertainty. The more decisions you make, the clearer things become. The more you act, the more power you feel. But if you don't start acting soon, stagnation will set in. That's what's happening now. You're stuck because of your indecision. It becomes a cycle of productivity and focus that can change your life overnight. But here's the catch. You're the only one who can start this cycle. No motivational quote will do it for you, no reminder from your phone or push from someone else. It has to come from within. You've wasted enough time thinking about starting. Now it's time to take that first step. That firm decision to stop delaying your life is what you need now. You've waited long enough. It's time to build the habit of moving at the moment of resistance. That's where real change happens, not in planning, not in thinking, but in taking action when your mind says, pause. You don't need more time or energy, you just need to act differently. Everything you want is on the other side of hesitation. And the only way through that hesitation is to move forward despite it. So the next time your mind tells you to wait, stand up and do something about it. Move into action. That's how you grow. That's how you change everything. Remember, every victory starts with a single step taken in the face of resistance. You think it's just about making decisions, don't you? That it's a straightforward process of weighing pros and cons and choosing the best option. But let me tell you something, most people are not strong enough to make those choices without second-guessing themselves. That's because they're constantly negotiating with their own minds, debating whether or not they should take action. They're stuck in a cycle of indecision, unable to commit to anything for fear of making the wrong choice. But here's the thing, there is no right or wrong choice. There are only decisions that you make and stand by. The strongest people you know aren't making a dozen decisions about the same thing. They make one decision and they close the door behind it. They don't keep coming back to it, wondering if they should have done something differently. They make the call and they move forward. That's how progress begins. That's how self-respect builds. You can't keep debating your own decisions and expect to grow stronger. Every time you revisit a decision, you weaken the original choice. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. Don't give in to the temptation of second-guessing yourself. If you leave the door open, even just a crack, it will find a way to talk you out of it. That's why most people don't follow through, not because they're lazy or broken, but because they haven't learned to shut down the internal debate. You make your decisions like you mean them, like they're final. You decide once and for all, and then move forward with confidence. Don't keep revisiting a decision and weakening it with each passing moment. Decide now and don't open any negotiation. Just make the call and move forward. If you hesitate, you invite weakness into your life. That's why most people struggle to make progress. They can't commit to anything for fear of making the wrong choice. But there is no wrong choice. There are only decisions that you make and stand by. You've got to decide now. Don't give in to the temptation of second-guessing yourself. Make your decision like it's final, and then move forward with confidence. That's how progress begins, that's how self-respect builds. Decide once and for all and then lock it in. Listen up, because I'm only going to say this once. Making decisions is a skill that's been lost on most people. They think they need more time, more information, or more signals from the outside before they can trust their own choices. Newsflash, you don't. Every time you second-guess yourself, you weaken your original choice. It starts to fall apart and you're left with nothing but uncertainty. You've got to make your decisions like you mean them, like they're final. No, maybe later, no, I'll think about it tomorrow. You choose and that's it. You treat it as a non-negotiable because that's how you build clarity. That's how you build follow-through. Not by stacking more information or trying to feel inspired. You build it by ending the conversation once the decision is made. And let me tell you something. Most people don't trust their own choices. They think they need more space to think, more signals from the outside. But if you keep delaying a decision, you're not getting smarter. You're getting stuck. You're training your brain to doubt instead of commit. And the longer you do that, the harder it gets to move. Real discipline comes when you stop entertaining the second voice. That voice that always pops up after you decide. The one that says, "Are you sure this is the right thing? Or what if it gets hard? Or maybe you should wait until you feel better." You know that voice. It shows up every time you try to change your life. But here's the thing, that voice doesn't need your attention. It needs silence. And silence comes from strength. It comes from deciding with clarity and refusing to invite negotiation. So, the next time you're faced with a decision, don't second-guess yourself. Don't hesitate. Choose and choose now. If you keep delaying, you risk missing out on opportunities that won't come back. You'll be stuck in analysis paralysis, unable to move forward. Your life will be held hostage by indecision. But if you make your decisions with clarity, you'll build momentum. You'll start to trust yourself. And you'll stop entertaining that second voice that's holding you back. Make it a non-negotiable. End the conversation once the decision is made. And for goodness sake, stop entertaining that second voice. It's time to build some real discipline. It's time to take control of your life. So what are you waiting for? Decide and decide now. You try to change your life, but that voice inside your head doesn't need your attention. It needs silence. And silence comes from strength. It comes from making decisions with clarity and refusing to invite negotiation. Don't go back and ask your brain for a second opinion. You made the call. Now you follow through. That's how you take back authority. That's how you rewire your pattern. Every time you stick to a decision without reopening it, you build something inside yourself. You build personal certainty, you build the kind of mindset that doesn't back down just because the emotions get loud. Most people's decisions are real, but their emotions are louder and they let emotion drag them back into the debate. You've got to stop doing that. Emotions shift, energy dips, confidence wavers, but your decisions must remain steady. That's the whole point of commitment. It means you keep going even after the excitement fades, even after the motivation is gone. Because if you only follow through when it feels easy, you're not committed. You're just convenient. And here's the truth, any decision worth making is going to feel hard. It's going to stretch you. It's going to bring pressure. That's part of it. That pressure is a sign that you're doing something different, something real. And when that pressure shows up, it's not a cue to step back. It's a cue to double down. You need to make decisions with clarity and refuse to invite negotiation. Don't go back and ask your brain for a second opinion. You made the call. Now you follow through. That's how you take back authority. Every time you stick to a decision without reopening it, you build personal certainty and rewire your pattern. Most people let their emotions drag them back into the debate when they feel like they're not committed. But commitment means keeping going even after the excitement fades, even after the motivation is gone. If you only follow through when it feels easy, you're not committed. You're just convenient. And remember, any decision worth making is going to feel hard. It's going to stretch you. It's going to bring pressure. But that pressure is a sign that you're doing something different, something real. So when the pressure shows up, don't step back. Double down. You've got to make decisions with clarity and refuse to invite negotiation. Don't let your emotions drag you back into the debate. Keep going even after the excitement fades, even after the motivation is gone. Because if you only follow through when it feels easy, you're not committed. You're just convenient. And here's another truth. Making decisions is hard work. It's not always fun. But that's what makes it worth doing. So don't give up. Keep pushing forward. Even when it feels like the pressure is too much, even when your emotions are screaming at you to step back. Double down and keep moving forward. You need to take control of your decisions and refuse to let your emotions dictate them. Don't go back and ask for a second opinion. You made the call. Now follow through. That's how you build personal certainty and rewire your pattern. Most people get stuck in indecision, but you can't afford to do that. You need to stay committed even after the excitement fades, even after the motivation is gone. And remember, any decision worth making is going to feel hard. It's going to bring pressure. But that's what makes it real. So don't step back when the pressure shows up. Double down and keep moving forward. Keep pushing yourself even when it feels like you're not getting anywhere. Because that's where growth happens. That's where you build strength and take control of your life. Listen up, because most people are not doing what I'm about to tell you to do. They're stuck in a cycle of hesitation and doubt, constantly second-guessing themselves and looking around for validation from others. But if you want to make progress, if you want to build strength and confidence, you need to stop doing that. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. When pressure shows up, which it will, don't back down. Double down. Because the stronger you get at holding your line, the easier it becomes to make bigger decisions. You'll stop fearing them, you'll start trusting yourself. And when you trust your ability to choose and follow through, everything changes. You won't drift aimlessly anymore, lost in doubt and uncertainty. You'll move with direction. Here's what I want you to understand. Your growth isn't about anyone else. It's about your ability to make strong decisions and own them fully. That's where your strength is. Not in seeking constant reassurance or comparing yourself to others. No, it's in treating your word like a command. When you decide to do something, just do it. Not because it's easy or feels good, but because you decided that's reason enough. You don't need more options. You need fewer excuses. And that means learning to act on your own decisions, not constantly second-guessing yourself. You think discipline and focus are what you need? No, what you really need is decision-making strength. When you decide once and follow through, you don't waste energy sitting in uncertainty. You act, you build, you grow. That's how progress stacks up, one strong decision at a time. Your growth stalls with every second of hesitation, every doubt that creeps in. Don't let it happen to you. Listen up, because what I'm about to tell you is not for the faint of heart. Most people will never grasp this concept, but I'm going to drill it into your skull until you get it. You need to learn to treat your own words like commands. Yes, that's right, commands. When you say you're going to do something, you better do it. It doesn't matter if it feels good or easy. What matters is that you decided it was going to happen. That's the only reason you should ever act. Not because of some fleeting motivation or a promise to yourself that you'll try, but because you've made up your mind and that's final. This is what integrity looks like. When you live this way, something incredible happens. Your confidence starts to shift. You stop needing constant approval and validation from others. You stop doubting every move you make. You start building an identity around action, not overthinking or perfectionism. And yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable at first. Your brain will push back, throw distractions at you, and whisper all the reasons to give up. But here's the thing. If you don't follow through on your decisions, you'll pay a price. You'll waste time, energy, and resources on indecision and self-doubt. And that's not just about your current situation. It's about the consequences of developing a pattern of behavior that's rooted in fear, uncertainty, and hesitation. The real secret to consistency isn't talent or motivation. It's the refusal to reopen a decision every time it gets hard. You pick a direction and stick to it long enough to see results. That's it. Don't try to sugarcoat it or pretend like it's more complicated than that. There's a quiet power in people who decide fast and act with clarity. They don't waver, they don't explain themselves, and they don't overanalyze every little detail. When you develop this kind of resolve, you'll start to feel it, a sense of calm and conviction that comes from knowing exactly what you're doing. You can do this. Decide fast, act with clarity, and watch your life transform in ways you never thought possible. You're stuck in the trap of perpetual indecision. Most people get caught up in analyzing every detail, second-guessing themselves, and seeking constant reassurance. But you need to break free from this cycle. You need to develop a sense of clarity and decisiveness. Every time you hesitate or reopen a decision that's already been made, you're sending a message to yourself, I don't trust myself. And that message becomes your reality. You start to doubt your abilities, question your choices, and fear the consequences of acting on them. This is not just about making decisions, it's about building self-trust. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. Don't waste time analyzing what should take minutes. Treat your time with respect and choose to act on your ideas. Every time you do this, you're sending a different message: I trust me. And that message will become your identity over time. You need to stop inviting second chances to quit. You've got to be firm in your decisions, clear about what you want, and disciplined enough to see them through. Your growth depends on it. Your discipline depends on it. Your success depends on it. The next time you make a decision, don't leave it open for debate. Don't revisit it in your head 10 more times. You've got to close the gap between idea and action. Every time you act without hesitation, you're building self-trust, and that's where real growth begins. You're not just making decisions, you're facing consequences. And the sooner you face them, the faster you'll grow. You need to stop worrying about what might go wrong and start focusing on what could go right. Every decision comes with consequences, but it also comes with opportunities. The next time you're faced with a decision, don't overthink it. Choose and then move. Send the message, I trust me. This is not just about making decisions, it's about building self-trust. And that trust comes from practice, consistent practice. You need to stop getting caught up in the never-ending cycle of indecision. You need to develop a sense of decisiveness, clarity, and confidence. It starts with making decisions faster, without hesitation or second-guessing yourself. The power is within you, it's time to tap into it. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you is crucial for your growth and success. Most people don't take the decision-making process seriously enough. They keep revisiting it in their heads, watering it down with doubt, and delaying action. Don't be like them. When you're faced with a decision, make up your mind now. Decide now. Act now. Don't open negotiations with yourself or others. That's a habit that will hold you back, not propel you forward. You need to build strength by taking decisive action, no matter how uncomfortable it may feel. If you don't, you'll waste more time and energy on indecision. You'll encounter resistance, and I'm not talking about the kind that's meant to hurt you. The resistance you face is actually proof that you're on the edge of progress. It's a signal to move forward, not to stop. Growth never comes easily, it shows up dressed in resistance. And how you respond to that resistance will define who you become. So let's get one thing straight. Resistance isn't something to be feared or avoided. It's an opportunity to test yourself, to push beyond your limits, and to grow into the person you're meant to be. When you feel like quitting a difficult project, that's resistance. Don't give in. When you dread making a difficult phone call, that's also resistance. Take a deep breath and make the call. You might feel anxious about putting yourself in a situation where you could fail, but that's resistance too. And what's the cost of delay? The longer you wait, the more momentum you lose. Don't let it hold you back. Move toward what scares you, and you'll be amazed at the growth you can achieve. The key is to understand that resistance is not something to be feared or avoided. It's an opportunity for growth and progress. When you feel that resistance, don't pause or hesitate. Instead, walk into it head-on. That's where your true strength lies, and that's how you create a life that moves forward without hesitation. Your growth depends on it, your discipline depends on it, and your success depends on it. So make the decision now, take action now, and don't look back. The only way to guarantee failure is to give up. You can face resistance with courage and determination, or you can let it hold you back. The choice is yours. You think you can wait for the resistance to go away before taking action? Think again. Most people do this every day, and it's a recipe for disaster. You're already behind schedule, and if you wait any longer, you'll never catch up. That phone call you've been avoiding? It won't disappear by itself. The bills won't pay themselves, the deadlines won't move on their own, and the excuses will just get louder. But whatever form it takes, you can't wait for the resistance to go away. You need to walk into it while it's still there. You're not going to find a magic moment when everything is perfect, so stop waiting for it. The moment to start is now. Make the call, send the email, take the first step. It doesn't matter how small it seems, just do something. That's the move that changes everything. If you wait to act until the resistance disappears, you'll never act. We'll always find a way to stay alive. It's persistent. It's clever. It knows your habits. It knows exactly what to say to convince you to wait. And if you keep listening to it, it gets stronger. Every day that you delay, the resistance grows. It becomes more entrenched in your mind and behaviors. You start to believe its lies, and you begin to make excuses for why you can't take action. But the truth is, you can. You just need to decide to do so. The first time you do the thing you've been avoiding, the tension builds up, and when you step into it, it starts to break apart. The fear loses its shape. The anxiety shrinks. You find out it wasn't nearly as bad as you imagined. That's how confidence is built, not by avoiding resistance but by moving straight into it. You need to stop waiting for the resistance to go away and start walking toward it now. Every single day, every hour, every minute counts. The longer you wait, the more difficult it will be to take action. Don't let fear hold you back. You have the power to move forward no matter how uncomfortable it might feel. You're not alone in this struggle. Most people face similar challenges every day. But the difference between them and you is that they've made a decision to act despite their fears. They've walked into the resistance and it's changed everything for them. Can do the same for you. The moment you start moving forward, something shifts inside of you. The resistance begins to lose its grip on your life. You feel a sense of freedom and possibility that you never thought possible. That's what happens when you decide to act despite your fears. It changes everything. So don't wait any longer. Take that first step today. It might be uncomfortable, but it will be worth it in the end. You'll build confidence, you'll gain momentum, and you'll start to see results. That's how progress is made, not by waiting for the resistance to go away, but by moving forward into it. You have the power to change your life today. Don't let fear hold you back any longer. Take action now and watch as your life starts to transform in ways you never thought possible. Listen up, because most people are running from resistance instead of facing it head-on. You think you need to feel ready before taking action, but readiness isn't a feeling, it's a choice. The moment you decide to move forward is the exact moment when the decision matters. You don't build courage by waiting for the perfect moment, because that moment isn't coming. All you have is now, and now is where resistance lives. It's right here in this very moment that you choose to either back away or step forward. That one choice determines the path you take next. You get up anyway. You start anyway. When you face resistance, it might feel like a mountain, but the more you climb, the less it controls you. You stop being afraid of pressure and start understanding it. You realize that it's there because something meaningful is on the other side. So, don't wait for your emotions to align or for the fear to disappear. Move forward with uncertainty still in your mind. Your legs might feel heavy, your heart might beat fast, but take action anyway. Speak up while your voice is still shaky. Make a move while the weight of resistance is still on your chest. That's how strength is built, not by avoiding it but by moving straight into it. You start to see the cost of delay. Every step you don't take leaves you further from what matters. The fear loses its shape as you continue to face it. The anxiety shrinks as you take charge. You find out that it wasn't nearly as bad as you imagined. That's the kind of confidence that sticks because it's built on your ability to move despite resistance. Every small step forward is a line in the sand against the tide of resistance. Resistance isn't something to be feared. It's a sign that you're getting close to what matters most. So, don't wait for the perfect moment, make one right now. Take the first step no matter how small it may seem. The more you face resistance, the less it controls you, and the more you'll discover about your own strength. You've got to stop running from resistance and start moving through it. That's where growth happens, in the midst of uncertainty and pressure. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to back away or step forward? The choice is yours, but remember, readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. You're probably thinking that readiness is a feeling, but it's not. It's a choice, plain and simple. It's the decision to move forward despite how your emotions are screaming at you to stop. And let me tell you, most people are held back by their own emotions. Your legs might feel like lead, your heart racing with anticipation, and your mind telling you it's just too much. But that's exactly when you need to push through the resistance. You take one step, then another and another. Show your body and brain that your path doesn't depend on your comfort level. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes. Resistance will still pop up, but you'll recognize it for what it is, a sign of growth and self-improvement. You'll start to feel confident in your ability to push through, even when it's hard. Resistance knows exactly where to hit you, right at your weak spots. It whispers sweet nothings in your ear, making excuses sound reasonable. Take a break, do it later, you're tired, you're not ready. But here's the thing. Resistance never yells, it just talks softly until you start agreeing with it. That's why becoming aware of it is crucial. You need to feel it and still move forward, hear it and still act on your goals. When you do, you separate your thoughts from your actions, stopping the cycle of impulse control and starting to build direction in your life. This isn't about being fearless, it's about being willing. And that's the choice you have to make today, not to be held back by your emotions or excuses but to push forward, one step at a time. The more you do this, the easier it gets. You'll start to notice what triggers your resistance and how to overcome it. And with each small victory, you'll build momentum, making it harder for resistance to keep up with you. Stop letting your thoughts control you. Stop being controlled by impulse. When you separate your thoughts from your actions, you start building direction. That's not about becoming fearless, that's about becoming willing. willing to feel what most people avoid, willing to act when it's uncomfortable, willing to hold your ground when your mind wants to retreat. Most people don't want to do this because it's hard. They'd rather stay in their comfort zones, stuck in cycles of stagnation. But you can choose otherwise. Every time you walk into resistance, you teach yourself a lesson. You show yourself that action is possible even when it's not easy. That hesitation doesn't need to win. That growth is always available to the one who moves forward. Don't let your mind tell you otherwise. Your brain rewires through repeated choices in the presence of resistance. That's how you build a new identity. One decision at a time. You stop seeing yourself as someone who avoids. You start seeing yourself as someone who confronts. That shift in identity is powerful. It doesn't happen by thinking about change. It happens by living it, by acting differently, by choosing pressure over pause. Don't wait for the moment where you feel completely clear. There's no such moment. What exists is this moment full of discomfort and hesitation and pressure. So choose to act anyway. Choose to face your fears, to push through your doubts, to take action despite how uncomfortable it feels. That's how mastery happens. That's how you change your life. It's not going to be easy. But every time you make a decision, no matter how small, you build resilience. You teach yourself that you can handle more than you think. And when the resistance comes, as it will, you'll know exactly what to do. You'll choose to move forward, one decision at a time. You won't always feel like doing this. But every time you choose to act anyway, you build momentum. You show yourself that growth is possible even in the midst of discomfort. And with each repetition, your brain rewires. Your new identity becomes more solidified. Until one day you look back and see how far you've come. And when that moment comes, as it will, don't let it go to waste. Keep pushing forward no matter what. Because the truth is, there's never a point where you feel completely clear. There's always going to be some level of discomfort, some amount of resistance. But with each decision, with each choice, you move closer and closer to mastery. So don't let your mind stop you. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back. You have the power to choose, every single time. Choose pressure over pause. Choose growth over stagnation. You're stuck in this vicious cycle of resistance. Most people let it consume them, paralyzing their actions with every tiny hesitation. But you don't have to be one of them. Every morning when your alarm goes off, you have a choice: to roll over and hit the snooze button or to face whatever's waiting for you outside. It doesn't matter if you feel like running 10 miles or just getting out of bed. What matters is that you take action. Not because it feels good, but because it needs to be done. Resistance isn't something you need to overcome. It's something you need to learn to live with. You'll never be completely clear on what to do next, and that's okay. What exists is this moment of discomfort, hesitation, and pressure. And that's enough. Action doesn't require perfect conditions. It needs courage, honesty, and movement. It needs you to show up, even when every fiber in your body wants to stay hidden under the blankets. You don't need to feel brave to be brave. You just need to do what you said you would do. That's how trust builds, not with others but with yourself. The more you take action, the more you believe in your ability to keep showing up. This belief starts to change how you see yourself. You begin to expect more from yourself and stop settling for what's easy. Every time resistance shows up, it costs you a piece of your mental strength. Every delay allows it to grow stronger. You can't let that happen. When this becomes your standard, life opens up. You find yourself in rooms where previously you didn't think you belonged. You have conversations that make your heart skip a beat. You take on challenges that once seemed too big to handle. Not because everything is easier now, but because you've become the kind of person who moves forward regardless of how it feels. Your goal isn't to remove resistance entirely, it's to become mentally strong enough that it no longer stops you. Every time it shows up, you know exactly what to do. Take a breath, feel it fully, acknowledge it, and walk right into it. No overthinking, no delay, just action. Real action is not about feeling perfect. It's about being willing to move forward despite your imperfections. So when resistance hits, and it will, don't try to analyze it or make excuses. Just take a step. Take another. And another. Until you're moving towards what you want, even if it feels like running through quicksand. You can choose to let resistance define you, or you can become the person who moves forward despite its presence. The choice is yours, but know this: every time you hesitate, you reinforce that pattern of behavior. Every time you take action, you build strength and trust in yourself. So what will it be? You're stuck in a pattern of avoiding discomfort, thinking that's the safe way out. But every time you give in to resistance, you're giving up on growth. You're choosing to stay small, to play it safe, and to live with the knowledge that you're not fulfilling your potential. Most people think they can just put off facing their fears until someday when life becomes more manageable. But that's a lie. There is no someday, only today, right now, in this moment. And if you don't take action, nothing will change. You'll keep drifting through life, stuck in the same old patterns. Every time you put off growth, you're losing out on the opportunity to get better. You're capable of so much more than your resistance wants you to believe. But you need to start seeing it as a guide, not an enemy. It's showing you where the growth lies, but only if you pay attention. Every time your body tenses up, every time your heart beats faster, that's your moment. That's when you get to choose. Will I let fear hold me back, or will I push forward? What's at stake is not just progress, but momentum. You think you're taking action, but are you really? Or are you just going through the motions, never actually challenging yourself to grow? The moment your mind starts to wander, don't give up. Drag your focus back every time it drifts. That's not a sign of failure, that's a call to return to what matters. Every time you stray from your goal, you're wasting energy. You're not doing this for someone else, you're doing it for yourself. You need to start taking control of your life, and that means facing the things that scare you. Not someday, but right now. In the presence of resistance, move forward. That's how you grow. Every time you take a step back, you lose ground. You're strong enough for this. But you have to believe it. Every time you feel like giving up, remember why you started in the first place. What did you want to achieve? Why are you here? And then, don't think about it, just do it. Take one step forward into the unknown. That's how you grow. Your focus isn't something you discover once and cling to forever. It's a skill that needs constant practice, like any other ability. When your mind starts to wander, that's not a sign of failure, it's an invitation to return to what matters. But if you want to master your attention span, if you want to see projects through to completion, you need to develop the habit of dragging your focus back every single time it slips away. Not just sometimes, not when you feel like it, but every time. Distraction isn't the problem, losing yourself in distractions is. Every time you let your mind drift off and you catch yourself, you have a choice. Stay where your thoughts wandered or bring your focus back on track. And if you choose to bring it back, don't expect perfection. Just take small steps towards developing the skills of attention. Everyone gets pulled off track. Everyone has moments where their attention falters. But those who succeed are the ones who notice it quickly and bring themselves back without hesitation. They don't wallow in guilt or self-criticism. They recognize the drift and shift gears. What happens when you fail to drag your focus back is that momentum builds up and projects stall. What happens is that deadlines get missed and opportunities slip away. You need to stop expecting your focus to be flawless, because that mindset only leads to frustration and disappointment. You practice it, you fail at it, and you come back stronger each time. That's how you build the kind of attention that gets things done, not by having perfect days, but by learning to return quickly from setbacks. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. Listen up. Most people waste their lives reacting to every little thing that comes their way. They jump from one notification to the next, one urge to the next, and wonder why they can't get anything done. It's not because they don't care, it's because they haven't learned how to focus. You've got to become aware of what pulls your attention. Notice when you catch yourself drifting off into distractions. Make a decision. Do you stay lost or bring your mind back to where you need it? That one decision is everything. Because if you keep choosing to stay lost, even for just a few minutes at a time, that becomes a habit. Small habits repeated often shape your identity. You don't want to be someone who constantly checks out and stays out. You want to be someone who can check in again and again, no matter how many times it takes. Focus is stolen in tiny ways. A quick glance at your phone, a background thought you let grow, or pushing tasks to later. You've got to get good at noticing the moment your attention drifts. Once you know the pattern, you can break it. But that means paying attention to your attention, and being honest with yourself about what's really going on. Are you avoiding work because you're scared of failure? Or are you stuck in a cycle of procrastination? The average person spends most of their day reacting, rather than taking control of their focus. They let themselves be pulled by every little thing that comes along, and then wonder why they can't get anything done. But it's not too late to change. You can start right now. First, identify the things that are stealing your focus. Is it social media? Email? Phone notifications? Whatever it is, acknowledge it and make a decision. Are you going to let it rule your life, or are you going to take control? If you don't set clear boundaries for yourself, distractions will consume you. When you're working, be working. Don't get sucked into checking email or taking phone calls. Be present with the task at hand. When you're reading, be reading. Don't get sidetracked by other things that come along. And when your mind starts to wander, which it will, because that's what minds do, catch yourself and bring your attention back on track. You can do this. It takes practice, but with every small victory, you'll build the strength of focus that will carry you through the rest of your life. You don't rise in life by being available to everything. You rise by becoming deeply present with the few things that matter most. So pay attention to your attention, and start building a life of purpose, one focused moment at a time. The lightly polished narration. You're stuck in a perpetual state of distraction, aren't you? Most people are never fully present in their lives. They're always somewhere else, mentally if not physically. And yet, they wonder why they can't make progress. Your body might be here, but your mind is scattered all over the place. You need to gather yourself, bring all of your energy and attention to what you're doing. That's where real progress happens, in full presence, not in fragmented moments of focus. You think it sounds simple, but trust me, it's a struggle. Your focus will break, and when it does, you have two choices. Let it drift further into distraction or pull yourself back together without making excuses. It takes strength to restart from scratch, not perfection. When your mind wanders, don't try to convince yourself you need a break. You usually just need to return to what matters, the task at hand. Return to the reason you started in the first place. Not because it feels good, but because you said you would do it. Mental strength isn't about being perfect. It's about being resilient. It's not glamorous, but it works. You can do this. Bring all of yourself to whatever you're doing. Be working when you work, be reading when you read, and be thinking when you think. That's how you build something meaningful. You'll stumble and your focus will break again. But that's okay. It's normal. What matters is what you do next. Do you let it drift further into distraction or drag yourself back together? You're not here to waste time on things that don't matter. You're here to do the work that requires mental strength. That's what separates the people who achieve their goals from those who give up halfway. Most people wait for motivation, energy, or inspiration before starting something new. They think that if they feel like it, then it's okay to start. But that's not how progress works. Progress is about showing up even when you don't feel like it. It's about building a habit of discipline. You need to train your attention like a muscle. You can't just sit around hoping that your focus stays sharp. You have to work on it every day in small increments. That's how you build mental strength. Not because you feel like it, but because you know that it's what you said you would do. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. One moment of distraction doesn't ruin anything unless you decide not to return. That's the work of discipline in real life. It's not flashy or always fun, but it gets results. The biggest trap is thinking that because your focus broke, your day is ruined. That mindset keeps people stuck. You can always return to what you're working on. You can always get back on track. Even if you fell off for an hour, even if you lost a day, you can always come back and do the work. Don't wait to feel motivated again or until the right energy comes. Just come back, reset, restart, recommit, and keep moving. The longer you stay off track, the harder it gets to return. But that's no excuse to give up. You have to keep pushing forward even when it feels like everything is against you. You need to make a decision today to commit to your work. Not just for an hour or a day, but for as long as it takes to get what you want. You need to decide that you're going to show up every day no matter what and do the work required to achieve your goals. That's mental strength. Listen up. Most people waste time waiting for the right motivation or energy to tackle their work again. Don't be one of them. The moment you feel yourself drifting off track, take immediate action. Don't wait for a signal from anyone else. It's yours alone to recognize. You're in charge of your attention, not the other way around. Your brain is powerful, but it needs direction. If you leave it unguided, it'll chase what's easy and avoid hard work. That's why you must take control. Your brain will fight you every step of the way, whispering excuses like, "I'm too tired," or "I'm not in the mood." But don't listen. Every time you're about to give in to a distraction, remember that you're building strength with each return to focus. You're training your brain to stay focused even when life gets loud. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. Your goal isn't perfection, it's progress. And every moment of clarity is a victory that keeps you grounded and focused. Some days won't go as planned. Your focus will drift over and over again. That doesn't mean you're weak, it means you're human. What matters is your response. Pull yourself back on track, do the work anyway, even if your mind fights you every step of the way. You're standing at a crossroads, and your mind is fighting against every step you take. The distractions are piling up, weighing you down like lead weights on your shoulders. But here's the thing. Most people let their minds win. They let the noise drown out the signal, and they give in to the comfort of procrastination. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. That's what it takes to build power. Not perfection, but progress. And with every repetition, you're proving to yourself that your attention can be trained. But here's what most people don't understand. It's not about never getting sidetracked. It's about always coming back on track. That's the mark of mental strength. Not someone who never makes a mistake, but someone who always recovers from them. Who doesn't get caught in guilt or shame when they stumble, but instead notices the setback and returns to the task at hand. You won't feel focused all the time. You won't be sharp every day, but you can always come back. And it's that decision made consistently over time that will change your life. Not because you'll suddenly become perfect or infallible, but because you'll develop mastery through repetition and paying a price for delay. You pull your focus back when your mind starts to wander. You drag your attention back when it's lost its way. And you do so not with some newfound energy or motivation, but out of sheer habit and discipline. Because the truth is, you don't need to do it perfectly. You just need to do it often enough that the muscle memory takes hold. The act of showing up becomes second nature and something remarkable occurs. You start to move forward even on the days when you hate what you're doing. When the task in front of you feels like a chore or an obligation. But doing the task you hate is one of the most powerful decisions you can ever make. It separates those who are stuck from those who are moving forward. And that's where the real growth begins. In that moment when you choose to show up and get work done despite your resistance. You think you can't stand doing something because it feels hard or boring? Newsflash. Most people are stuck in a rut, paralyzed by their own fear of discomfort. They'd rather do nothing than face the reality that they're capable of more. You think you'll only make progress when you're in the mood? Think again. You won't grow by doing what comes easy to you every day. That's just maintaining the status quo. Real growth happens when you tackle tasks that drain your energy, challenge you, and annoy you. And you know why? It's because those tasks build something inside of you. They build emotional toughness. They build work ethic. They build mental structure. You start to learn that your emotions don't control your actions. You start to learn how to lead yourself even when it's inconvenient. Now, I'm not asking you to enjoy the process. I'm not asking you to wake up excited every day. That's a myth perpetuated by people who don't want to do the hard work themselves. Progress isn't about feeling good. It's about getting results despite how you feel. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. Every time you do a task you don't want to do, you build something inside yourself. You become more resilient, more disciplined, and more capable. And that's what separates the ones who move forward from those who stay stuck. So, finish what you started despite how you feel. Real growth begins when you tackle tasks that drain your energy, challenge you, and annoy you. And as you keep pushing through, remember, it's not about enjoying the process, it's about getting results. You think it's easy? It's not. But you're not here to do the easy things. You're here to build something inside yourself that will serve you for the rest of your life. Every time you push through discomfort, you become more capable and resilient. And as you keep building that mental structure, remember, it's not about feeling good, it's about getting results. So, get back to work and finish what you started. Your future self will thank you. You're stuck in a cycle of avoidance, letting personal preference dictate your schedule and dictate what gets done. Most people would rather procrastinate than face their least favorite tasks head-on. But that's exactly where growth happens, not in the easy moments but in the long, grueling hours when every part of you wants to quit. You're not going to feel like doing it most of the time. You won't enjoy the process, and that's never been the point anyway. The point is becoming someone who keeps showing up even when it's slow, even when it's uncomfortable, even when everything inside you screams to give up. That's where discipline gets built, not in perfect conditions, but in those exact moments when you want to step away. Every delay gives that task more power over you. It becomes harder to do, and its hold on you grows stronger. You can't afford to keep pushing it off just because it doesn't feel good. That's what needs to happen. Face your least favorite tasks head-on and follow through. Prove to yourself that you're stronger than your dislike for the process. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. Discipline is built in those moments, not in perfect conditions. When you do what needs to be done, even when it's hard, you take away its power. It doesn't get to decide anymore, you're in charge now. When every part of you wants to quit, that's exactly where growth happens, in the long, grueling hours. You've got two options. Let the task dictate your schedule or take control of it. If you don't face your least favorite tasks head-on and follow through, its hold on you will grow stronger. You won't enjoy the process most of the time. But that's never been the point anyway. The point is becoming someone who keeps showing up even when it's slow, uncomfortable. Every delay gives that task more power over you. Every delay makes it harder to do, and its hold on you grows stronger. Every time you make a decision, it carries more weight than your mood. You need to prove to yourself that you're stronger than your dislike for the process. So here's what needs to happen. Face your least favorite tasks head-on and follow through, no matter how much you hate it. You can do it, even when it feels like the hardest thing in the world. It's time to stop letting personal preference run your schedule and take control of what gets done. The rewritten text in a long-form self-help narration. The truth is, most people let their emotions dictate their actions. They skip the tasks they dislike, hoping that somehow, someway things will magically change. But life doesn't work that way. If you keep avoiding discomfort, you'll keep repeating the same lessons over and over. The universe has a way of testing your resolve until you face your fears head-on. Don't think for a second that you're getting away with this avoidance tactic. It's just delaying success, plain and simple. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. The sooner you step into the uncomfortable zone, the sooner you'll move forward. And let me tell you, it won't be easy at first. You might not see immediate results. You might not feel proud in the moment. But those are the tiny reps that matter most. Those mundane tasks that feel like nothing, dull, hard, or pointless, they're adding up. They're shaping how you handle your life from this day forward. If you don't do them, someone else will have to pick up the slack. You don't build a strong character through excitement. You build it through consistency. And that means learning to detach from how you feel about a task and stay committed to what needs to get done. Newsflash, you don't need to love the process. You just need to respect it. See that the hard work you avoid is exactly where your next breakthrough lives. There's a reason you hate some tasks. Maybe they're tedious, or maybe they make you uncomfortable. Maybe they expose your weaknesses. And guess what? That's okay. That's part of the process. So don't wait for motivation to strike. Don't wait for inspiration to hit. Just start. Take that first step, no matter how small it may seem. Because here's the thing. Most people give up before they even begin. They let fear and doubt hold them back. But you're not like most people, are you? You think you're too weak to face your weaknesses? You think you're not ready for the challenges ahead? Newsflash, most people are in the same boat as you. They're stuck, paralyzed by fear and doubt. But here's the thing, you don't need inspiration to start. You just need to start. Period. Stop waiting for that perfect moment. Stop expecting a spark of motivation to ignite within you. It won't happen. At least not until you take action. And when you do take action, you'll be surprised at what happens. You'll stumble upon tasks that make you feel like quitting, but don't give in. Those are the doorways to growth, to strength and clarity. Behind every hated task lies potential for transformation. But if you keep walking away from those doors, they'll stay closed forever. And you'll be left with nothing but regret and what-ifs. So take a deep breath and open that door. Step into it. Complete it. The skills you develop, the habits you form, those are the real prizes. Not some abstract notion of success or achievement. No, it's about becoming someone who can tackle anything life throws at them. So don't make excuses. Don't wait for perfection. Just start. And when you do, remember that every task is a doorway to something greater. Something that will stay with you long after the task itself is forgotten. You're not doing this for the task. You're doing it for who you become while doing it. That's the real reason to push forward. Anything less is just settling for mediocrity. And nobody wants to be mediocre. Nobody wants to be weak. So, let's stop making excuses and start building strength, one hard task at a time. You can't grow if you keep quitting. You can't evolve if you keep choosing comfort. Every task you hate is a doorway, and behind it lies the opportunity for transformation. But you'll never see what's on the other side if you keep walking away. So, stop running and start building. Start completing tasks that make you uncomfortable. You don't have to feel ready, you just need to start. And when you do, remember that the real prize is not the task itself, but who you become while doing it. The discipline you build along the way, that's what stays with you long after the task is done. So take a deep breath and open that door. Step into it. Complete it. Not because you enjoy the task, most people don't, but because of who you become while doing it. That's the real reason to push forward. Anything less is just settling for mediocrity. And nobody wants to be mediocre. Nobody wants to be weak. You're not doing this for the task. You're doing it for who you become while doing it. You're not building discipline for some grand achievement. You're building it for who you become while doing it. That's the part most people miss. The task itself might be irrelevant in 5 years, but the character you develop through perseverance is what stays with you. That's what prepares you for everything else in life. There's a kind of freedom that comes from showing up for yourself when it's hard. A peace that settles within knowing you won't quit on yourself. It's not about being perfect, it's about being reliable. When you build a relationship like this with yourself, you no longer need external motivation to keep going. You'll become your own driver, moving forward even when the road gets tough. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. It might take longer than you want, and it might test your limits. But the reward is a solid foundation inside of you that doesn't waver with every challenge. You'll walk differently, think differently because you know you can count on yourself. That's the goal, to finish the work even when it drains you, even when there's no excitement left, and especially when others might quit. You finish because it matters. You finish because it's the right thing to do. And once you do, something shifts inside of you. You stand a little taller, gain quiet confidence that comes from action, not loud declarations or external validation. You're building this discipline for who you become while doing it. That's what stays with you long after the task is complete. Most people miss this part, focusing on the destination rather than the journey. But if you focus on becoming someone who can see a challenge through to completion, you'll find that you have what it takes to tackle anything life throws your way. The discipline you build now will prepare you for everything else in life. There's freedom in showing up for yourself when it's hard. A kind of peace that comes from knowing you won't quit on yourself. It's not about being perfect, it's about being reliable. When you build this relationship with yourself, you no longer need external motivation to keep going. You'll become your own driver, moving forward even when the road gets tough. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. It might take longer than you want and it might test your limits. But the reward is a solid foundation inside of you that doesn't waver with every challenge. You'll walk differently, think differently because you know you can count on yourself. That's what makes it worth doing, not for external recognition or immediate rewards, but for who you become through the process. The task itself might be irrelevant in 5 years, but the character you develop will stay with you forever. You want to change, but you're stuck in a rut. You know what needs to be done, but you keep putting it off. You need to stop making excuses and start taking action. Most people will never make it out of this comfort zone because they are too afraid to take the first step. They are too comfortable with their current state of being, even if it's not ideal. But you're different. You have a vision for your life, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to achieve it. You need to start doing what others avoid. Start taking on challenges that make you uncomfortable. Stop letting your feelings dictate your actions. You don't have to like the task, but you need to finish it. Growth demands work. It demands sacrifice. It demands that you lean into what you resist the most. This is where most people fail. They get stuck in their comfort zones and never move forward. But not you. You're willing to push through the discomfort and come out stronger on the other side. If you don't, you'll stay stuck forever. You have a choice every day: skip the hard task and stay the same, or do it and become more. That's all it comes down to. One task at a time, one uncomfortable step after another. And over time, those choices build someone powerful, someone unstoppable. If you choose comfort, you'll lose your vision. You need to shut down comfort before it takes the lead. Don't let your desire for ease and convenience hold you back from achieving your goals. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Take on challenges that make you feel vulnerable. If you don't, you'll never reach your potential. When you're faced with a difficult task, remind yourself of why you started this journey in the first place. What is it that you want to achieve? Why are you doing this? Don't give in to excuses, push forward instead. You need to stay focused and committed to your goals. Don't let setbacks or failures discourage you from moving forward. Keep pushing forward even when it feels like you're not making progress. You can't see the entire journey at once. And most importantly, celebrate the discipline. Celebrate the hard work and dedication that got you where you are today. That's what matters most. Not just the results, but the process itself. It's about being consistent, not comfortable. So, stop making excuses and start taking action. Stop letting your feelings dictate your actions. Start doing what others avoid. And when you're faced with a difficult task, remember, it's not about being comfortable, it's about being consistent. Take on the challenges that make you uncomfortable. And don't stop until you reach your goals. You're stuck in a rut. Most people are. They let comfort dictate their choices, and before they know it, they've been sidetracked from their goals. Comfort is sneaky. It's always lurking, waiting to pounce on your vulnerabilities. It doesn't shout or argue. It just quietly takes over when you're tired, distracted, or uninspired. The moment you let your guard down, comfort starts whispering sweet nothings in your ear. Take it slow, it says. You deserve a break. But what it's really saying is, give up. Don't fall for it. Don't let comfort have the first word. If it speaks first, it'll be the last thing you remember too. Comfort doesn't look like a threat. It feels like a reward. But that's exactly what it is, a trap. It trades progress for ease, and before you know it, one delay becomes two, one skipped session becomes a habit, and one relaxed standard becomes your new normal. You can't let comfort run your decisions if you want to move forward in life. You need to see it for what it is, a silent thief that takes without warning. Don't give in to its siren song. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. Because one delay becomes two and two becomes three until you're out of time and out of excuses. Don't let comfort dictate your choices. Shut it down before it takes over. See it for what it is, a trap that waits to pounce on your vulnerabilities. You have to shut down comfort now while you still have the chance. Your future depends on it. Don't wait until you're exhausted or uninspired. You're stuck in a comfort zone that's slowly suffocating you. It's a trap that lures you with promises of rest and relaxation, but in reality, it's holding you back from making progress in life. You need to wake up and see it for what it is, a silent thief that takes away your momentum without warning. You think you can just coast through life on autopilot, doing what feels good every day? That's not how the strongest people achieve their goals. They don't wait for motivation or perfect energy. They create structure and stick to it, even when it doesn't feel like it. They give themselves fewer options, fewer distractions, and fewer exit points. Most people let comfort dictate their schedule and plans. They wait for the right moment, the perfect timing to take action. But that's exactly what comfort wants, to keep you in a state of perpetual indecision. You don't need to feel bad about wanting comfort, it's natural. What you need is to manage it, to keep it from driving your decisions. When comfort shows up, act on your plan no matter what. Don't let ease set the pace. Move forward without hesitation. That's how you build discipline, by taking control of your schedule and sticking to your priorities. You think it's hard? It's not about feeling motivated every day. It's about creating habits that work for you, not against you. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. And most importantly, you need to stop letting comfort dictate your life. Create structure, follow routines, and make them non-negotiable. Don't let comfort dictate your plans. Take control of your life. Start moving forward without hesitation even when it's hard. That's how you build discipline. The strongest people didn't get there by doing what felt good all the time. They got there by setting clear priorities and protecting them from comfort. They built routines and followed them whether they felt like it or not. You can do the same. Start today. Create your own schedule and stick to it. Comfort always has good timing, but that's exactly what makes it a trap. It waits for you to let your guard down, to relax and become complacent. But when you're moving forward without hesitation, comfort can't catch up. You're creating momentum, progress, and growth. That's how you achieve greatness, by taking control of your life and refusing to be held back by ease and relaxation. It's not about feeling bad for wanting comfort, it's about managing it. Take control of your life, create structure, and stick to it. That's how you build discipline, one step at a time. Start today, don't wait. The rewritten text in a long-form self-help narration style. Don't let comfort dictate your plans. When it shows up, don't listen to its soothing words, act instead. That's how you build discipline, by moving forward without letting ease set the pace. Comfort always has good timing. It appears when you're stressed, uncertain, or facing a challenge. That's when the soft options seem most appealing. Skip the workout, delay the call, watch something for a while, scroll a little longer. Comfort is always lurking with a shortcut, but that shortcut takes more than it gives. Because when you avoid what you should be doing, you're not just losing time, you're weakening your inner structure. You're telling yourself it's okay to back down when things aren't perfect. That message compounds over time. It becomes your pattern. It becomes who you are. You've got to send a different message, one that says, I lead, not comfort. To do that, act quickly. Wake up and start the day without delay. Tackle the hardest task first. Don't wait for clarity, make a decision. Take the walk. Finish the task. Follow the plan. And do it before your mind starts building an excuse. Once comfort starts talking, it gets creative. It knows exactly what to say to sound reasonable. Just today, just 5 more minutes. You've earned this. And if you don't shut it down fast, it becomes the voice you trust. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. That's how discipline is built, by moving forward without letting ease set the pace. Comfort always tries to sabotage your progress with clever excuses and shortcuts. But these shortcuts may seem appealing in the moment, they ultimately lead to stagnation. You are stronger than comfort's allure. You have the power to choose between leading and being led by your desires. Make that choice clear. I lead, not comfort. By acting quickly and decisively, you build discipline and strengthen your inner structure. Don't let comfort become the voice you trust. That's a path to stagnation, complacency, and mediocrity. Be the leader of your life. Don't let ease dictate it for you. Move forward with speed and purpose. That's how you build true strength. And when you stumble upon excuses and reasons to slow down, reject them. You've got to send a different message, one that says, I lead, not comfort. You're aware of the voice inside your head, the one that tries to sound reasonable and convince you to take it easy. It's a subtle trickster, whispering sweet nothings like "just 5 more minutes," or "you've earned this." But if you don't shut down that voice fast, it'll become the one you trust. Make the move before the debate starts in your head. Act on what you said you'd do, even when no one is watching. Show up early and keep your promises. Those are the moments that shape your character, not just loud and attention-grabbing ones. You know when comfort is creeping in. You feel it when the urge to slow down hits or when you're tempted to check out of what needs to be done. That's your window. Don't let comfort take over. Seize control right then. What happens when comfort leads the way? It starts with small, seemingly insignificant changes. Skipped habits, missed deadlines, and lowered expectations. Before long, it's leading the way, making you settle for mediocrity, not because you're weak or lacking in willpower, but because you didn't catch the shift in time. It's not about being harsh with yourself. It's about being honest. You must be intentional every single day, choosing structure over ease, even when it feels like a hard pill to swallow. Act in strength by doing what needs to be done. Don't wait for some mythical sense of strength to kick in. When no one is watching, when the world is silent, that's when your character is forged. That's when your true nature emerges, not when you're surrounded by noise and distractions. The moment of truth comes in those still hours when you're alone with yourself. You can't let comfort be your guide. You must build systems that resist its seductive pull. Set deadlines, hold yourself to them, work at a specific time regardless of how you feel. Move forward even when it's hard. Stay committed despite the shifting emotions. This is how you keep your edge, how you stay sharp. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about protecting your vision. Your goals are fragile, vulnerable to being derailed by comfort's insidious influence. You need energy, focus, and consistency to achieve what matters. Comfort will try to steal these from you, one distraction at a time. Rest is essential, but it must be earned, planned for, and incorporated into your routine. Don't let rest become an excuse to escape the hard work ahead. If you're always resting as a way out of difficulty, you're not resting, you're hiding. And hiding doesn't build anything. It erodes your progress, your momentum. You don't need perfection. Awareness is enough. Catch yourself early when you feel that urge to skip what matters. That's the moment to act, to take control back from comfort. Do something concrete. Send a message, finish a task, go for a walk. Beat comfort with swift, decisive action. Comfort is not your ally, it's an enemy in disguise. It'll lull you into complacency, making you believe that rest and relaxation are the same as achievement. But they're not. Rest is what you earn after pushing through the hard times, not a way to avoid them altogether. You've set goals for yourself because you want something specific. Those goals demand consistency, dedication, and perseverance. Comfort will try to sabotage these efforts by making excuses, by convincing you that you can achieve your vision another day. But those days pile up, and before you know it, your dreams have become distant memories. You're at a crossroads now. You can either let comfort dictate your actions or take control back from its insidious influence. It's time to make a decision. Will you prioritize your goals or give in to the allure of rest and relaxation? The choice is yours, but be warned. Once comfort has a foothold, it's hard to dislodge. Consistency is key to achieving what matters most. It means showing up when you don't feel like it, working even when it's difficult. Don't let your emotions dictate your actions. Instead, be guided by your goals and the commitment you've made to yourself. You're not doing this for anyone else, you're doing it for yourself. Your vision, your dreams, they demand that you stay focused, driven, and consistent. Don't let comfort undermine these efforts. Take charge of your time, your energy, and your focus. To succeed, you need an edge, a mental toughness that refuses to give in to comfort's seductive voice. This is not about being perfect. It's about being aware of the choices you make, the habits you form. It's about catching yourself early when you feel the urge to skip what matters. You don't need motivation or inspiration to push through the hard times. You just need to act, quickly, decisively. Don't let comfort build a case against your goals. Beat it back with swift action. This is how you keep your edge, how you stay sharp and focused on what truly matters. Forming habits that prioritize action over rest will be the key to your success. Take small steps towards your goals each day, even if it's just a short walk or sending an email. These actions may seem insignificant, but they're crucial in building momentum and staying committed to what you want. Don't let comfort dictate your schedule. Instead, build a routine that incorporates both work and rest. Plan for downtime as much as you plan for productivity. This way, you'll avoid the temptation to hide behind excuses and achieve what truly matters, not just today but every day. Here's of the text, meeting all the constraints and guidelines. You know exactly where comfort hides in your life, waiting to sabotage every attempt at progress. It's time to acknowledge those sneaky behaviors that derail you from achieving your goals. Now, stop them dead in their tracks before they become insurmountable obstacles. Shut down comfort when it tries to take the lead. When you make tough choices and take decisive action, something fundamental changes within you. You cease being someone who waits for perfection and transform into a momentum maker by choosing strong actions over indecision. This identity shift propels you forward. It gives you control back from the comfort zone's grip. Your goals become tangible realities, not fantasies sustained by luck or circumstance. Leadership is about making deliberate choices that drive progress, even when comfort tries to whisper "wait" in your ear. Comfort will continue to knock on your door. It won't give up easily. But you have the final say every time. You don't have to let it dictate your day's agenda. It's your choice always. Now start acting like it. Shut down comfort early by moving forward before its excuses can even begin. Choose discipline over delay and focus on the tasks at hand. This is the mindset you need. Clarity over comfort, action over avoidance, discipline over procrastination. Stop waiting for inspiration and start choosing your path forward with intent. You already know what to do. It's time to just do it. Follow your schedule, finish what you've committed to, and silence the voice of ease that tries to whisper, "just one more hour." This is how you take control, not by feeling great every minute but by pushing through even when the path ahead seems uncertain. You're going to make one choice today, and it's not about waiting for motivation or feeling good about what you do. It's about choosing clarity over comfort, action over avoidance, and discipline over delay. You're not going to let ease sneak in. You're going to take control of your day from the very beginning. Most people give up on their goals within the first few weeks because they start to feel comfortable with where they are. They think they've made progress, but really they're just settling for mediocrity. You don't have to be like them. You choose growth over comfort every single day. You finish what you start, and you do it because you know what needs to be done, not because you feel like doing it. You're not going to let weakness dictate your actions or make excuses for yourself. You already know what to do, and you do it before comfort takes the lead. Real change happens one honest decision at a time, one moment of action before comfort takes over. And that's exactly how you're going to make progress, by taking consistent, daily action towards your goals. You don't fall behind because of a setback. You lose when you start thinking soft and never notice. Soft thinking is sneaky. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It tells you that everything will be okay if you just take it easy for one more day. But the truth is, your standards are going to keep dropping if you let those thoughts dictate your actions. You have to develop awareness of when these thoughts show up in your mind. You can't just catch them. You have to interrupt them fast before they take root. That's how you're going to grow, by becoming aware of your own thinking patterns and taking control of them. It's not about being perfect. It's about making progress every single day. And the only way to do that is by developing the discipline to interrupt soft thoughts and take action towards your goals. You can't rely on motivation or feelings to drive you forward. You have to choose growth, choose action, and choose discipline over delay. Most people give up because they're not willing to develop this kind of awareness and self-control. But you're going to take control of your day one moment at a time by choosing clarity over comfort, action over avoidance, and discipline over delay. That's how real change happens, and that's exactly what you're going to do today. You're going to catch yourself thinking soft and interrupt those thoughts fast. You're going to finish what you start and move forward with urgency. And you're going to keep doing it every single day until strength becomes who you are. One small win repeated daily is all it takes to build the kind of resilience that will carry you through any challenge. You're stuck in neutral. Most people drift through their days without even realizing it. They let soft thoughts seep in and take over, whispering lies into their ears. You've done enough today. No one's watching anyway. It sounds reasonable at first, but that's exactly what makes it so insidious. Soft thinking is a master thief. It steals your drive, your focus, your ambition. And it does it with ease because it doesn't shout, it whispers. You have to be vigilant. The moment you let your guard down, the soft thoughts move in. They're like weeds, sprouting up quickly and suffocating everything else. They feel comfortable at first. That's what makes them so deadly. But they're lies, dressed up as kindness. They're the beginning of slow decline. One soft thought might not seem like much, but if you let it stay, it becomes the default. You start repeating it. You start believing it, and your actions begin to match. You skip the extra rep at the gym because you've done enough today. You stop early on that project because no one's watching anyway. And before you know it, your goals feel further away. Not because of a big event, but because you didn't stop that first soft thought. The cost of delay matters. Every day you let those thoughts take over is a day further from your goal. You have to train your mind to notice when it starts to drift into weakness. When it shifts from drive to excuse, when it reaches for comfort instead of challenge. That's when you need to be at your strongest. You can't let those soft thoughts become the default. You're not weak for recognizing when your mind is slipping. You're not flawed for needing to fight back against soft thinking. It's a normal part of the process. Everyone struggles with it at some point. Break those soft thoughts down before they do any damage. Recognize them and interrupt them fast. Don't let them take root. Awareness is key. When your mind starts to drift into weakness, that's when you need to be at your strongest. You have to break those soft thoughts down before they become the default. It's a daily battle, but it's one you can win. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. Soft thinking is sneaky, but you can be sneakier. You can't keep living on autopilot. The moment you recognize that hesitant thought creeping into your mind, it's time to take control. Don't let it linger, don't try to negotiate with it, simply break it. Interrupt that mental chatter with action. Change your body language, speak out loud, move, redirect your attention. Remind yourself who's in charge. If you don't take charge of your internal dialogue, it becomes your mindset. And once it's your mindset, it shapes everything. It decides whether you push forward or give up. You can't rely on feeling strong every day, but you can become someone who recognizes weakness early and holds themselves to a higher standard. This isn't about being perfect, it's about daily practice. Start paying attention to how you speak to yourself in critical moments. Notice the internal dialogue when no one is watching. Are you being kind or are you tearing yourself down? You need to become mentally sharp, stay alert, and pay attention to your thoughts. That voice in your head has immense power. It can either fuel your growth or hold you back. You have a choice. Let weakness define you or rise above it. When the doubts creep in, remind yourself of why you started. What drives you? What do you want to achieve? Focus on that and don't let your internal dialogue undermine your progress. Most people give in to their weaknesses, but you can choose differently. You're not just fighting against weakness, you're also risking missed opportunities if you wait too long to act. The longer you delay, the harder it becomes to make progress. You need to catch yourself early and take control before those doubts turn into habits. You can become someone who catches weakness early and doesn't give soft thoughts a home. It's not about being perfect, it's about holding yourself to a higher standard every day. Practice mindfulness, redirect your attention, and interrupt those negative thought patterns with action. You are in control of your internal dialogue. Take charge. When you feel like giving up, remember why you started. What drives you? What do you want to achieve? Hold on to that vision and push forward. Don't let your internal dialogue dictate your actions. You have the power to choose how you respond to challenges. Rise above your weaknesses and don't give in to excuses. You can become mentally sharp, stay alert, and pay attention to your thoughts. This is a daily practice, not a one-time achievement. Every moment counts, even when no one is watching. Speak kindly to yourself, hold yourself accountable, and rise above your limitations. You have the power to choose how you grow, and it starts with taking control of your internal dialogue. You're probably used to thinking that being harsh on yourself is a bad thing, but the truth is, holding yourself to a higher standard is what it takes to achieve real progress. It's not about beating yourself up over every little mistake, but about having the discipline to stay focused and committed to your goals. Most people don't even realize how often they're sabotaging themselves with soft thinking. They let their minds wander and get caught up in all sorts of excuses for why they can't push forward. But you have the power to change this pattern right now. Start paying attention to how you speak to yourself, especially in those moments when it counts. If you're letting your mind tell you that it's too hard or that you're not good enough, catch those thoughts and silence them immediately. Don't let them grow into full-blown excuses. Act on the opposite. Take one step towards your goal, no matter how small it may seem. You hear yourself saying, "This can wait," and you respond with a simple but firm, "No, it can't." You tell yourself, "I'm tired," and you remind yourself that being tired is not an excuse for giving up on your goals. You hear, "I've done enough," and you recall the promises you made to yourself about what you want to achieve. If you accept soft thinking as normal, you'll settle for a mediocre existence where you're constantly afraid to push beyond what feels comfortable. But if you take control of your thoughts and train your mind to spot those soft moments, you give yourself a chance to rise above. You give yourself the freedom to build something solid and meaningful. Don't let comfort dictate your decisions. Choose truth instead. When comfort starts masquerading as truth, it's essential that you cut it off immediately. This requires daily attention and honesty with yourself. It demands that you confront those soft moments head-on and choose a different narrative for your life. So, here's the challenge. From now on, when you catch yourself slipping into soft thinking, stop immediately and respond with a clear, firm voice. Train your mind to stay focused and committed to your goals, and watch how your entire life begins to shift in remarkable ways. You're stuck in a pattern of comfort masquerading as truth. It's time to stop letting this happen and take control of your thinking. Most people get caught up in this trap, but you can break free. Every day, you need to be vigilant and cut off comfort whenever it tries to sneak in and distort your path. This isn't a one-time task, it requires constant attention. You have to stay honest with yourself. Lowering the bar only leads to regret and knowing you could have done more but didn't. Soft thinking may seem like a break, but it's always a path to disappointment. It lets opportunities slip away because you hesitated. You don't want to experience this feeling again, so when you hear soft thoughts creeping in, treat them like an alarm. Don't ignore them or indulge in them just because they feel good. Step back and pause. Ask yourself if these thoughts are leading you towards growth or pulling you back. If the answer isn't growth, stop it. Cut off the comfort and take a stronger action instead. This is how you lead yourself, not by letting emotions dictate your pace or comfort decide what's best. You stay awake to your own thinking and set standards that even on difficult days you enforce without compromise. Some days you'll catch soft thoughts quickly and shut them down. Other times they'll sneak in deeper, and it might take a while for you to realize you've been running on low standards. That's okay. The moment you notice it, pull yourself back and realign your thinking. You can reset the tone of your day at any moment, no matter how far along you are in your work or daily activities. The choice is always yours, to stay on the path of growth or let comfort dictate your decisions. You're stuck on autopilot, drifting through life with a mediocre standard as your guiding force. That's okay, it happens to most people. But when you finally wake up and realize what's been going on, don't let complacency creep back in. Pull yourself out of that rut immediately. Every day is a fresh start, but the longer you wait to take control, the harder it becomes. You'll become comfortable with mediocrity and it will feel natural. That's when the real danger sets in. You'll stop noticing your thought patterns, start believing them as truth, and convince yourself that's just who you are. Here's a harsh reality: those thoughts aren't yours. They're from others who have influenced you. And you can change that right now by stepping back into your full potential. Not by being perfect, but by being aware of the standards you hold for yourself. Don't let excuses creep in. Don't tolerate soft thinking. Your behavior is a direct result of your thoughts. If you want stronger habits, build a stronger mind, one that rejects weakness and excuses. The longer you wait to do this, the more potential slips away from you. Your results will be dictated by fleeting emotions instead of deliberate decisions. If you don't take control now, mediocrity will become a habit. You'll get used to tolerating subpar performance and it will consume your life. But if you decide soft thinking has no place in your life, everything shifts. It starts with a single moment, one thought, one choice to say no to mediocrity. You can choose this right now. Don't let the comfort of complacency fool you into staying stuck. Take control, build a stronger mind, and watch everything else fall into place. The power is yours, seize it. You're stuck in a rut, aren't you? Most people are. They wait for the perfect moment, the right energy, or the ideal mood to make a change. But not you. You don't wait. You rise to the standard you set when you were clear, focused, and honest. That's the kind of mindset that makes you unstoppable. Not because you're always energized, but because you know how to catch weakness before it spreads and shut it down before it convinces you to quit. This is your responsibility. Nobody else is going to manage your thoughts for you. Nobody else can hold your focus. This is on you. And that's not a burden. That's power, because it means you can take full control of your path. You can build something real, something lasting. And it all begins in the way you think. So catch yourself thinking soft and interrupt it fast. Replace it with a stronger move, a stronger decision, a stronger voice. You're not going to get better by wishing for it or hoping that somehow things will magically improve. No, you need to take control of your thoughts and make a change now. Don't wait for tomorrow, don't wait for next week, don't wait for the perfect moment. You'll never find one. Every time you think soft, you risk spreading weakness throughout your life. It's a disease that can be stopped just as fast as it spreads. In fact, you're already starting to shift everything. It starts with one moment, one thought, one choice to say no, not today, not now. And in that moment, you lead. You rise above the mediocre mindset of most people who settle for being average and never pushing themselves to be more. You don't lower your expectations to match your mood or energy levels. No, you keep moving forward because that's what winners do. They don't let weakness dictate their path. Shutting down negative thoughts is crucial. It's the only way you'll ever achieve anything real and lasting. It all starts with how you think. Catch yourself thinking soft and replace it with a stronger move, a stronger decision, a stronger voice. Repeat this process until it becomes automatic. Until you no longer let weakness lead your life. Until you become someone who thinks sharp, acts strong, and lives with purpose. All because you made one choice again and again to interrupt soft thinking before it could shape your future. This is your responsibility, and that's not a burden. It's power. Your life is not about being someone else. It's about becoming who you truly are. But that requires one fundamental choice: interrupting soft thinking before it takes hold. Most people let their thoughts control them, letting doubts creep in and undermine their progress. They let frustration simmer beneath the surface, waiting to pounce on any sign of weakness. Act like quitting is not even an option. Quitting becomes an option the moment you let it enter your mind. It doesn't always come crashing in with a loud voice. Sometimes it masquerades as doubt disguised as frustration, or maybe this isn't for me. That's how it starts, with a whisper, a pause, a soft internal question about whether to keep going. If you let that thought grow, it becomes a decision. And once you make that decision, everything is taken from you: your momentum, your belief, your confidence. So, you must live like quitting is not even available today, tomorrow, under pressure, under stress. You train your mind to keep going regardless of how you feel. This mindset isn't forged in easy times. It's forged when things are messy and emotions are begging for relief. That's where strength comes from, not from giving up but from pushing forward. When you stop treating quitting like an escape route, your energy shifts, your commitment deepens, and your standards rise. You begin to carry yourself differently. You no longer ask, how long will this take? Instead, you start taking action, one decision at a time. And when doubts creep in, because they always will, remind yourself that quitting is not an option. It's not a luxury you can afford. It's a mindset you must adopt if you want to achieve your goals. Your life is not about being someone else. It's about becoming who you truly are. To do that, stop letting your thoughts control you and start controlling them instead. Act like quitting is not even an option. Today, tomorrow, always. You're stuck in a cycle of quitting and giving up, aren't you? Most people are, and that's exactly why they never achieve what they want. They make quitting an escape route, a way out of discomfort or difficulty, but that's not how winners think. Your energy shifts when you stop treating quitting like an option, your commitment deepens, and your standards rise. You begin to carry yourself differently, with confidence and purpose. And instead of asking how long it will take, you start asking how far you can go. That kind of thinking creates power, because now you're not wondering if you'll make it, you've already decided you will. And when the decision is made, your energy stops getting drained by doubt. You're no longer entertaining options that pull you away from your goal. You're focused, all in, and committed. Quitting has a cost. Every time you quit, you lose momentum, credibility, and progress. It's like hitting the reset button on your life. If you want to build something lasting, make the decision once and for all. No more quitting. Don't revisit it every Monday, don't reopen it after a bad day. Eliminate it from your vocabulary, erase it from your mind. That kind of mindset frees you up. Now, the only way forward is through, and when there's no way out, you figure things out. You push harder, stretch more, endure longer. You think winning is about being the most talented or having everything figured out. No, it's not. It's about showing up again and again like quitting never existed. When you carry this attitude, people around you start to notice. You walk into a room differently, like you own it. And that's exactly what you need to do. Take ownership of your goals, your dreams, and your life. Make the decision once and for all, no more quitting. Start showing up again and again like quitting never existed. That's how winners build something lasting. You're not like most people who give up at the first sign of resistance. You don't flinch at every challenge, and you're not looking for shortcuts. You've already decided to push through no matter what. That's a powerful attitude, one that earns respect from those around you. When you walk into a room with this mindset, people notice. They sense the confidence, the determination. It's like an aura surrounding you, drawing others in. And it starts on the inside. You're not thinking about how you feel or what you want to do. You're thinking about what must be done. What needs to get accomplished today? This week? This month? You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. That's when it matters most. Staying connected to your goal, refusing to let external pressures dictate your actions. You don't run from the pressure. You meet it head on. You work with it, letting it shape you into someone stronger. Every obstacle is an opportunity to grow and improve. Now, this doesn't mean you're some kind of superhero who never takes a break or makes adjustments. It means that no matter what changes, your direction stays constant. You stay focused on what must be done, even when circumstances shift. Because you've got to stop thinking about how you feel and start thinking about the outcome. The consequence is clear. If you don't take action today, tomorrow will only bring more pressure and stress. The cost of delay is too high to ignore. Every day that passes means another opportunity lost, another step further away from your goal. Every day you keep moving forward. You prove to yourself that you mean business, that you're committed to your goals, no matter what obstacles arise. And that's what earns you the right to call yourself a high achiever. Not because you've achieved some arbitrary goal or milestone, but because you've demonstrated your character. You show up with purpose and determination, not just on the good days but on the hard days too. You prove yourself every day by taking action no matter what comes your way. And that's a powerful thing. That's something most people only dream of achieving. The next rep is waiting for you. What will you do? You're about to make a decision that will determine the course of your life. Most people around you are still stuck in their comfort zones, waiting for things to get better before they take action. But you know what? Things will never get better on their own. You need to make them happen. Stop making excuses and start taking ownership of your life right now. Act like the outcome is already yours and you just need to catch up to it. Move with a sense of urgency as if your future depends on it, because it does. Every day keep pushing forward. Prove to yourself that you mean what you say. Don't let the ease of quitting cloud your judgment. Quitting is easy, but it's also boring and unfulfilling. The ones who succeed are those who decide it's simply not an option. Not because things always work out as planned, not because they never feel pain, but because they've learned how to lead themselves in those moments. They've trained their minds to keep moving forward even when progress feels invisible, even when no one is watching, and especially when they don't feel supported. You need to reach that level of discipline. Make a promise to yourself and keep it. Don't break it. When things get hard, remind yourself why you started in the first place. Reconnect to that moment of truth when you said, "This matters to me." Hold on to that feeling and let it push you forward. When doubt creeps in, let your determination speak louder. You've come too far to go back now. Too much has been built and too many lessons have learned. This is where most people quit, but not you. You're going to ride this out no matter what. You'll have days when your emotions scream at you to stop, but don't listen. Remember why you started and let that drive you forward. Keep pushing, keep striving, and most importantly, keep showing up. Don't let anyone or anything hold you back from achieving your goals. Keep moving forward even when it feels like progress is invisible. You've invested too much time and energy into this journey to give up now. You've come too far and now it's time to decide. The path ahead is treacherous, but most people give up here. They let their emotions dictate their next move and they quit. But you're not like most people. You have a different standard for yourself. When the weight of your responsibilities feels crushing, when the reasons to keep going seem insignificant, that's when you show your true character. That's when you prove your loyalty to your potential. It's not about grand gestures or dramatic declarations. It's about making small, consistent choices in the midst of struggle. These decisions are made quietly, without fanfare or recognition. They're made when it's just you against your own doubts and fears. But with each passing day, each choice to continue, you become stronger, steadier, more grounded. You begin to notice that quitting is no longer an option. It's not even a thought. You've been practicing showing up for yourself and it's become second nature. You're no longer driven by motivation or perfection. You're driven by standards and consistency. When people ask how you kept going, you won't talk about your motivational boosts or your perfect days. You'll talk about the decisions you made, the standards you set, and the way you trained your mind to keep pushing forward. This is how mental strength is built, not through natural talent or innate ability, but through repetition and practice. And if you continue on this path, you'll find that quitting becomes a distant memory. It no longer has room to grow in your life because you've shown up so consistently that it's just who you are now. You're expected to face resistance from within, the doubts, the fears, the self-doubt. But every small choice adds up, and with each passing day, you become more solid, more steady, and more grounded. You can't afford to let your emotions dictate your next move. Instead, stand firm against them. You've been practicing showing up for yourself and it's become second nature. When people ask how you kept going, you won't talk about your motivational boosts or your perfect days. You'll talk about the decisions you made, the standards you set, and the way you trained your mind to keep pushing forward. The consequences of giving in to emotions are severe: lost momentum, wasted time, and a weakened sense of self. But every small choice adds up, and with each passing day, you become more solid, more steady, and more grounded. You can't afford to let your emotions dictate your next move. Instead, stand firm against them. You've come too far to go back. You have a choice to make. Will you show up for yourself or let your doubts hold you back? The decision is yours alone, but remember, with each passing day, every small choice adds up, and you become more solid, more steady, and more grounded. Listen up. Most people waste their time trying to motivate themselves. They talk about finding their passion, setting goals, and overcoming obstacles. But let me tell you something, motivation is a myth. It's a crutch for those who can't make decisions. You're not going to find your motivation by reading self-help books or watching motivational videos. You're going to find it in the decisions you make every day. Every morning, you decide whether you're going to act like someone who's all in or if you're still going to live like quitting is an option. That answer shows in your habits, in your effort, and in your attitude. When you choose to quit, you pay a cost. You lose time, momentum, and potential. And most people are not willing to make the necessary changes in their lives because they're too comfortable with their excuses, too attached to their habits, and too afraid of failure. You need to remove the option to stop. Make it simple. You either keep going or you go nowhere. There is no middle ground, no compromise. When things get hard, you don't turn back, you push forward. You figure it out, you find a way, and you keep moving. Every day you make a choice. Do you act like someone who's all in, or do you live like quitting is still an option? The answer shows in your daily habits, in your effort, and in your attitude. But now it's not just about quitting, it's about the consequences of giving up on your goals. You're tired of falling short, tired of being someone who starts but never finishes. You need to become someone who is all in, every day, no matter what. Remove the option to stop and you'll be surprised at how far you can go. Listen up, because I'm only going to say this once. Most people let quitting linger in their lives like a constant threat, and it's time for you to realize that's exactly what's holding you back. Quitting doesn't just disappear. It waits for the perfect moment to strike when you're tired, frustrated, or doubting everything. So don't give it an inch, remove it from your table now. You get up anyway, start anyway, do the next rep anyway. Erase quitting from your vocabulary. Burn every bridge that leads to excuses. Give yourself one direction, forward. That's how you protect your goals, build a future, and develop into someone you can be proud of. If you don't take control now, regret will follow soon. You must show up, stay committed, and carry yourself as if quitting never existed in your world. Don't do it just once. Make this your daily routine. Think like this, act like this, and slowly but surely, everything will change because you're no longer hoping for success. You're becoming the person who makes it inevitable. You see, finishing what you start is the simplest test of character. It's not about speed or perfection. It's about seeing something through to the end, even when motivation fades, work feels heavy, and every fiber in your body wants to quit. Anyone can begin making promises with energy high, but only a few keep going. And if you don't master this skill, all your efforts will be for nothing. Now I know what you're thinking. But what if I'm not feeling motivated? Or what if it's too hard? Well, let me tell you, most people use these excuses as an opportunity to give up. Don't be one of them. Show yourself that you're the kind of person who sees things through no matter what. Your future depends on it. Finish what you start and you'll find that quitting is just a myth created by those who can't push past their own limitations. It's time to stop making excuses and start creating results. You've got this, now go out there and make it happen. Listen up. Most people can start something new, but few see it through to the end. Even when motivation fades and work feels heavy, even when nothing inside you wants to keep going, that's when anyone can begin. Anyone can make promises when energy is high. But what happens in the middle, when it gets hard? When it feels boring, when it drags on longer than expected? That's where your strength is revealed. That's what separates those who make progress from those who repeat the same cycle. You'll never grow if you keep stopping halfway. If you want to become someone you respect, you've got to build the habit of following through, not just when it's fun or easy, but every time. Don't bother trying to convince yourself that it doesn't really matter if you finish right now. The brain loves to negotiate and will offer you every reason to delay. You've done enough today. You can come back to this later. But don't give in. Every time you let your excuses win, you damage your self-trust. And without trust, there's no discipline, and without discipline, there's no progress. Your future is built through completion. So here's what I want from you. Every single day, find something to complete. It doesn't matter how small it seems. If you promise yourself you'll do one thing, see it through. Don't let your excuses or tiredness get the best of you. You can begin and you can finish. If you think finishing later is the same as finishing now, that's a lie. Every time you break a promise to yourself, even a small one, you chip away at your self-trust. So don't believe it. Don't let yourself off the hook with half-hearted attempts or procrastination. You're stronger than that. You'll start to notice the cost of delay. Every missed deadline, every unmet goal, eats away at your confidence. And without confidence, you'll struggle to take on new challenges. So don't waste any more time. Complete what you set out to do. Your future depends on it. Most people will struggle with this. They'll try to convince themselves that they're doing enough or that it's okay to delay. But I'm not here to coddle you. I'm here to challenge you, to push you to see what you're truly capable of. So don't waste your time trying to find excuses, just do the work. Your future is built on the foundation of completion. Don't let yourself down. Don't let your potential slip away. Finish it. Complete what you started. That's how you grow, that's how you make progress, and that's how you become someone worth respecting. Most people think they can start something new and suddenly find motivation to finish it. But that's not how progress works. When you make a promise to yourself, even a small one, you damage your self-trust. And without trust, there is no discipline. Without discipline, there is no completion. Let me tell you what happens when you try to build a future without finishing what you start. Your efforts add up, but only when they're carried through to the finish line. A good idea means nothing without execution. An unfinished task delivers no result. A goal without closure is just an empty statement. You don't grow by starting new things. You grow by finishing what you already started. And you don't wait to feel like it. You do it because you committed. You do it because you said you would. There will be days when the last stretch feels impossible. Your mind will drift. Your body will resist. That's the moment you choose to be different. That's the moment you remind yourself that the process doesn't respond to how you feel. It responds to what you do. You show up for the finish. You bring energy when there's none left. You give attention when your focus is low. You push through the drag and deliver the final piece. This doesn't mean every task will be perfect. It means you don't walk away until it's done. You don't abandon the process just because the feelings changed. You don't let your emotions dictate your effort. You become someone who honors their own word. That's where real confidence comes from. When you commit to finishing what you start, you build self-trust. And with self-trust, you can tackle anything that comes your way. So, make a promise to yourself today. Make it small, but make it real. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. Don't let anything stand in your way. Show up for the finish and push through to completion. Remember, progress isn't about feeling motivated all the time. It's about being disciplined enough to see things through. You show up even when it's hard. You keep going even when you don't feel like it. And you get it done. You think you can just give up because your feelings changed? That's not how people who achieve anything get ahead. They don't let their emotions dictate their effort. They become someone who honors their own word no matter what. Most people are stuck in a cycle of almost done, almost followed through, and almost committed. But they never finish. They never take that final step. And because of it, they're plagued with self-doubt. They know deep down that they're not consistent, that they always pull back when things get tough. If you let your emotions control you, you'll be stuck in this cycle forever. You want to become someone solid, someone reliable, someone who finishes even when it hurts. Not because you feel like it, but because you've decided to be that person. You decide that your feelings don't dictate your actions. You decide that you'll finish what you start, no matter how low on energy you are. You want a higher standard than just letting your emotions guide you? That's what strong people do. They push through the discomfort, they see things through to the end. And it's not just about one task or project, it's about every area of life. The workouts you almost completed, the projects you almost launched, the conversations you almost had. None of them pay off until you finish. You don't get rewards for starting something. You only get rewards for completing it. If you want those rewards, growth, change, clarity, freedom, then you've got to earn them by seeing things through. You've made it this far. Don't think you're getting rewards for just starting out. That's not how it works. You get rewarded for seeing things through to completion. And if you want that reward, if you want growth, change, clarity, and freedom, then you'd better be prepared to earn it. Don't bother trying to feel good about it either. Completion is about doing what needs to be done, no matter how much your inner voice wants to bail out on you. It's about showing yourself that you can handle the tough stuff, that you can carry responsibility with integrity and finish what you start without making excuses. Every day you delay is a step backward. You've learned a different way though. You know that the real reward lives on the other side of resistance, and if you want it, then you've got to keep pushing forward until the job is done. This isn't about burning out, this is about keeping your word. It's about showing your mind that just because you don't feel like finishing today doesn't mean you get to quit. You do the next task anyway. And when you finally finish, something changes inside of you. Not just relief or pride, but quiet, unshakable strength. The kind that says, I can count on me. That's power, the kind that comes from keeping your promises and carrying through on what you say you'll do. Most people don't have this kind of strength. You've got to earn that strength though. It doesn't just come automatically because you're trying hard enough. Every day you put in the work is a step closer to getting it. And if you do, then you'll start to notice a difference inside of yourself. You'll become stronger, more resilient, and more capable than you ever thought possible. Every person who quits on their commitments will never see this kind of growth. They'll stay stuck in their old patterns and habits because they don't want to do the work required to change. But not you. You're willing to put in the effort to become stronger, more capable, and more confident. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep pushing forward until the job is done, or are you going to give up like most people? The choice is yours. Listen up. When you finally get something done, when you finally push through to the end, something inside of you shifts. It's not just relief, it's not just pride, but quiet, unshakable strength. The kind that says, I can count on me. That's a rare kind of power. Most people don't have this kind of power because they've trained themselves to stop short. They teach themselves to quit when things get tough, to give up when the going gets rough. But not you. You're different. You train yourself to close the loop, to take that last step, to push through that final stretch with your head held high. You have to live like your future depends on your ability to finish what you start. Because it does. All those ideas, all those plans, all those goals, they mean nothing if you don't follow them through to completion. You don't get results from talking about what you'll do, you get results from doing the last 5% when it's tempting to quit. That's where discipline shows up, not in starting something new, but in finishing what you've already begun. Not in the first few steps, but in the last few when it's easiest to give up. You remind yourself, this is what I said I'd do. And then you do it. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. You might feel tired, you might feel distracted, you might be tempted to say, this is good enough. But you don't stop. You bring it home. You take it to the end. You close the chapter fully. That's how your mind learns that you are in control. That your promises are not temporary, that your goals are not optional. You're not someone who needs perfect circumstances to finish what you start. You're someone who will push through even when it's hard, even when it's easy to quit. You're someone who will take the last step no matter what. And when you do, something inside of you shifts. You gain a quiet, unshakable strength that says, I can count on me. That's a rare kind of power. Most people don't have this kind of power because they've trained themselves to stop short. They teach themselves to quit when things get tough. But not you. You're different. You train yourself to push through even when it's hard. Even when it's easy to give up. You might feel tired, you might feel distracted, but you don't stop. You bring it home. You take it to the end. You close the chapter fully. That's how your mind learns that you are in control. That your promises are not temporary, that your goals are not optional. Your path is clear and you will follow it through to completion. No matter what. Listen up. Most people are stuck in a cycle of starting but never finishing. They make promises they don't intend to keep, set goals that they're not committed to achieving, and waste time on projects that they'll never complete. You get up anyway. You start anyway. You do the next rep anyway. That's what it means to be someone who finishes what they start. And you are that person. It's not about being perfect, it's about being purposeful. You have a clear idea of where you're headed and who you want to become. But every day you face resistance in the form of procrastination, self-doubt, or simply feeling like giving up. What will last is your ability to show up, day in and day out, and put in the effort required to complete what you've started. You finish what you start because it's who you are. It's a mindset that turns potential into reality. And every day that mindset gets stronger, one task at a time, one project at a time, one commitment at a time. Starting today, right now, you're going to finish what you started. No excuses, no delays. Repeat after me, I finish what I start. Say it like you mean it. Say it every day until it becomes a habit. Because when you do, your life will change in ways you never thought possible. Your character will transform and you'll build the kind of discipline that makes you unstoppable. You're not just talking about finishing tasks or projects. You're talking about becoming someone who can be relied on to follow through. Someone who can trust themselves to see things through to the end. That's what it means to have true power, the power to finish what you start no matter how hard or unpleasant the task may be. It means being reliable, trustworthy, and accountable. It means having a reputation for following through on commitments, every day without fail. And that's exactly what you want, to be known as someone who gets things done. So here's your challenge. Starting today, every day you're going to show up and finish what you started. No more excuses, no more procrastination. You're going to own it with pride, power, and purpose.